Agenda of the Pompton Lakes Zoning Board of Adjustments, April 22nd, 2025. The following is the agenda of the regular minutes of the Pompton Lakes Zoning Board of Adjustments. The meeting is to be held in the Municipal Building, 25 Lenox Avenue, on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, beginning at 8 p.m. A written advance notice as required by NJSA 10-4-1 etc. has been provided of this meeting at least 48 hours in advance of today, given the time, date, and location, and to the extent known at the time of the agenda of this meeting. Such notice stated that formal action may or may not be taken. This meeting will be video recorded and will be broadcast for later viewing for the public. The notice was posted on the bulletin board outside of the offices of the municipal clerk, reserved for this and other similar announcements. Provided to the Suburban Trends, the newspaper designated by the council and planning board to receive such notices, and filed with the borough clerk. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Dokey. Mr. Hunt?
Here.
Mr. Abate?
Here.
Ms. Kern will be absent tonight. Mr. Cross?
Here.
Ms. Bernstock? Okay, Mr. Rowan?
Here.
Mr. Baig?
Here.
Mr. Fagula?
Here.
Mr. Devontae?
Here.
Okay, we have Mayor Sarah and Mr. Brewer, and we also have tonight Ms. Kristen Russell from Colliers Engineering.
Okay, minutes, regular minutes for March 25th, 2025. Everyone had an opportunity to read those minutes. Are there any corrections? See that I had none. Can I get a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
Roll call, please.
Who's second, please? Abate?
Mr. Abate?
Okay. Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Abate?
Yes.
Mr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Mr. Baig?
Yes.
Mr. Fagula?
Yes.
And Mr. Devontae?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Approval of bills. We have 3 from Colliers. And then we also have Falcon Services, Legal Services. Can I get a motion to accept those
Motion to accept.
bills?
Who was that? Fagula?
I'll second.
Fagula and Bate?
Can I please
Bate?
get a roll call?
Okay. Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Bate?
Yes.
Mr. Cross?
Yes.
Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Mr. Baig?
Yes.
Mr. Fagula?
Yes.
And Mr. Devontae?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna move on to applications. BOA 25-06. On it, MCI Mechanical Inc., 431 Ringwood Avenue, in Pompton Lakes. Mr. Farr?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. James Lasala, L-A-S-A-L-A of Riverdale, appearing on behalf of the applicant. I want to make a couple of opening statements, and then I'll call Mr. Monette to testify. Number one, I had spoken to Ms. Fusaro and Mr. Coley about this. We are going to be asking to bifurcate this application and only deal tonight with the interpretation request of the ordinance. If that is granted, obviously we're done. If not granted, we'll come back another day. I submitted a letter today giving some case law with regard to the interpretation, and I think that with that and testimony of the applicant, I'm hopeful and reasonably certain that the board is likely to agree. We certainly hope so. This is a unit that was originally the Accardi shop. It was a transmission shop, sign man, et cetera, well known in town. New owners of the building, it's now vacant. They have a tenant who wants to come in, and there's a licensed plumber, he's a licensed HVAC contractor, he's a licensed fire suppression system installer, among other licenses. The argument here for us and the interpretation is simply that the allowed uses are any licensed professional unless otherwise prohibited. And there is no prohibition against any licensed professional within the ordinances themselves. Based upon, and there's, the only prohibition, and that was certainly a concern of Mr. Foley, is having a lumber or building material yard. And we want to make it absolutely clear that there will be no outside storage. That includes the intent not even to park vehicles on the lot overnight. The applicant's employees have their company vans and they take them home, so he'll be operating his office, he'll be storing his materials there, his people will come in and pick things up, and then go out to job sites. There was a mention of possible retail use. I don't even want that. The only reason we had the retail use as a part of the discussion in the first place was because Mr. Foley indicated that retail use is a permitted use in the area, but since the real use of this is his office and his storage of his materials that are then taken off-site, we don't think that it's needed to do the retail use, and it's not certainly wanted by him in the first place. It was simply an accommodation to see if we could get the CO from Mr. Foley directly. With that, I'll call Ray Manette.
Please raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last, please.
Raymond Monette, M-O-N-N-E-T-T.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Proceed.
Ray, could you tell us what you do?
I'm a commercial plumber and fire sprinklers and HVAC. I've been doing it for, I got my license, first one in '95. I've been running my business since.
And specifically, you were licensed as a master plumber,
Yes, that's my majority of work is doing plumbing.
and you're also licensed in HVAC
Yes,
and also in fire sprinklers?
yes.
Among other things, right? You're even a more?
Well, I had a, home builder's license, but that was it.
What is your intent to do with the property?
I just want to run my office, which that entails just me figuring my plans, running my daily business out of there for, figuring, get my money in, money out, and kind of getting all my materials. I get them all together for the guys. They back in. Some days they don't come for a week. Sometimes they'll come in and out a couple times a day. We load up the truck, they go to the job, and they do what they have to do. It all depends if it's just one little fit out or a big job, and sometimes I don't see the guys for a month. They'll run, get their check maybe, and then they're out, so.
How long have you been at the location where you are currently?
About 15 years in Moonachie.
And approximately, how does it compare in size to the 431 Redwood Avenue?
This one here is bigger, the one in Pompton Lakes. It's a couple of 100 square foot bigger.
And have you had any problems in your current location in operating indoors?
No, not at all.
Is it your intent to have no outside storage whatsoever?
No, I don't have any now. I can't have it where I am, so I have to make sure I keep everything inside anyways.
So you've been living with this for 15 years?
Yeah, I've been living with it like that, so.
And how many employees do you have?
I have about 6 right now.
And they have company vans or pickups?
Yeah, Vance.
And do they take them home at night?
Yes.
Is your intention to not even have any parking overnight?
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep them parked there, and if some reason they have to, they'll be parked inside. But most of the time, my guys take them all, they don't wanna drive their own vehicles ever.
Okay. You're ready to occupy immediately?
Yes.
And what hours do you anticipate working?
I get in probably 6:30, in the morning, say 6:30, and then I work probably till 5:36 at night.
And this is you yourself?
This is me, myself.
What time do the employees come in to pick up stuff?
They'll probably start, figure, the earliest they'll be there is maybe 7, to load up, and that'll be it.
Generally speaking, the loading up will be indoors.
Yes.
So you have 2 bays. It being an old radiator repair shop, it's got 2 bays big enough to fit your van.
Oh, yeah, we could drive in and out, no no problem.
And as a result of that, your intent is to do the loading of those vans indoors?
Yeah, I mean, we have to. I mean, we're gonna be pulling in, kind of loading everything up, because it'll be on the shelves, all our stuff, and it'll just be that, pretty easy to do that.
Other than the pickup of the materials by your employees, would you be the only person generally working in the building?
90% of the time, yeah, I'll be the only one in there.
And again, there had been some discussion at one point of possibly having a small retail part of the business. It's your intention not to have that at this point?
I'd rather not,
It's simply to be your office and your storage area for your
Correct.
employees?
And I don't work weekends either. I try not to. Had a lot of years of that done. Plus, I live in Ringwood, and I've been traveling down to Moonachie since 2000, and I kind of had enough. That's why this was perfect. It's only 15 minutes from home.
Neighborhood around there is completely, primarily commercial, right?
Where? Over, yeah.
And
Oh, yes.
431.
Yep.
And matter of fact, in part of the same building is an auto body shop.
Yeah, the auto mechanic is right next door.
And
He's in the same building.
up the street at the corner, there's another plumbing contractor, HVAC contractor as well, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Used to be Ben Franklin Plumbing?
Yeah, that was that place, yeah.
And that's really all I have for the testimony. What I'd like to do then is sum up. Like I say, this is about as simple an application as we've tried to make it. In the letter that I sent to you, there are a couple of cases that I wanted to refer to. State versus Gandhi, 201 NJ 161, and State versus Smith, 197 NJ 225. The courts basically found that in order to determine the meaning of the statute or ordinance, that to the extent possible, by looking at the plain language of the lawmaking body. Indeed, Prospero versus Gandhi at 183 NJ at 492 and 93, the court states that the language is ambiguous, then the interpreter, if the language is not ambiguous, then the interpretive process is over. What we have here is a situation where the ordinance specifically states that any licensed professional can have his offices in the zone. It specifically prohibits building and lumber yards. There is going to be no outside storage, so there is no concern about any yards. That even addresses the point of parking. And on top of that, you have the two garage bays that are big enough to allow the vans to come in and load. You have the ability to park a vehicle there once in a while, if necessary, indoors, not outdoors. So we submit that this would be a permitted use, and we ask the board to agree. I open up Mr. Manette to questions by the board.
I have a question in regards to, you said you had 6 and vans coming in to load up?
I have a total of 4 vehicles
4.
altogether, that's it.
Okay,
I have other employees, but they're the helpers, and they kind of
okay.
go to the job on their own with their
Okay.
trucks or meet up,
And you stated that the loading would pretty much primarily be done inside the building?
Yeah,
Or-
right in the front, there's the front door.
Right,
I would, how I have it set up, figure just back right up, load it up, and send them on out, and that's
Okay.
it.
because I would tend to believe also that there would probably be some loading on the outside because of the nature of the product. And I'm not saying it would be a lot, but there would probably be some activity outside as well. And it's probably minor, but there's probably some activity outside.
Very minor,
Right.
if we're gonna go, it's gonna be, if the guys come in, it's like I said, they come in, they talk, we go over something, look at a set of plans, go over it, they'll grab something, and they're off.
Okay,
Because if they're there, they're not making any money, so.
understood. Okay, that's a question for you.
So the apartment upstairs will be your office then? There will be no apartments, or it'll be just strictly plumbing use, or is this gonna be shared
The
use?
apartments are by, there's other tenants that are upstairs.
So that doesn't change?
That doesn't change at all.
All right, so they'll be parking?
They have parking, yeah, they have their own spots that are there already that are for them. That's it, they have their spots.
He's simply taking over, and you can confirm this, Ray, the space that was occupied by Arcardi. So the right half of the first floor.
And there's
So
actually,
The repair business that's there now is gonna stay?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So they have vehicles?
He has a couple vehicles that he pulls in and out. Most of the time he has them in.
The owner is here as well and can testify that generally speaking, they park all their vehicles overnight inside as well. Again, I'm not familiar with the auto body shop, but my understanding is that they have limited parking overnight. In any event, that's the existing use. We're simply trying to get the use for the
I
vacant spot.
wouldn't know why there's any problem with parking there. Is there any
No?
reason to
On the
believe
side,
it's
there's like 4 or
No.
5 spots after
permitted
that.
use, is it not?
Yes.
That's the question.
That's
Yeah, that's
we
what-
we say yes.
That's what- He likes that answer.
I've always seen vehicles parked there for my entire life,
Yeah.
some pretty ugly ones besides.
That's why it's a body shop.
That's it, okay, so the apartments are there and the other tenant is there, and you're occupying everything on the lower floor then?
I'd like the L-shaped. The mechanic, I don't know if you have the plan, he takes like a third of it, and I got the other 2/3, which kind of is a wraparound. So I'll have the back entranceway and then off the street, the one right-hand side.
Let
So
me
it
mark,
wraps
let me
around.
mark this as A1.
Yeah, I believe Dave Quackenbush's office has, or his business has 2 bays,
Correct, yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all he has in a little bathroom.
That's the survey they
Yes.
submitted.
Yeah.
That's this one.
Yeah, there you
With
go.
the diagram of the inside.
Mhm.
So Ray, could you describe
Yeah.
the inside of the building here?
Yeah, I mean, right, like I said, I'd want to put my office itself, into the back and have my rack set up on the back wall, which would be, like lot 7, you say there. And that's where all my fittings, my pipe, my tools, and everything would go into that back section, the back half. The front half would just be more of my smaller, probably racks with all my traps and supply lines and all that stuff coming in here. So,
And the front left corner over here, that's the
Yeah.
auto body shop.
and yeah, the mechanic, yeah. That's the mechanic on the left front side. So basically, all on the right there where that lot 97 is, that's basically the parking, all onto that right-hand side where the tenants park, and then that would be my parking, and then the mechanic, he has a bunch of the front spots, that come up to the street.
And the loading and offloading of product that you're gonna be needing to do your jobs, that wouldn't have, an issue with pulling in and offloading and then pulling back out?
No, whether it go to the back garage door, whether we could back up over there and load in, or if we pull up into the middle there, more than likely we'll probably, I don't know, see how it all works out. So whichever, is gonna work out easier for getting one material or the other, that's where they'll park,
And these are smaller vans, these aren't the really tall ones?
Yeah, these are just little, very standard, low, little vans, because we do a lot of traveling. I work all around New Jersey, and like I said, most of the time, my guys aren't even around. They'll come in, they'll go out, and then that's it, so,
Are you gonna close the Munaki office?
yes,
You are, okay.
yes, God willing.
Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? No? Would you like to
Sure, I can
comment?
comment, I can summarize. So the question before us today is whether or not this is a permitted use. I'll just summarize for you some of what's in your municipal zoning code. This is located in the DBD2 zone, and some of the uses that are relevant to their request that are permitted are garden centers and building supply establishments. Okay, I think we could potentially qualify them as a building supply establishment. General business and professional offices, he says he's gonna have an office there. And any and all licensed professional services except those specifically prohibited. And at the beginning of the testimony, we did learn that he is a licensed plumber, among, I think, a few other things. Those are uses that lend themselves to suggest that what he's asking for is permitted. I think that the reason that some question was raised by Mr. Foley was that the DBD2 zone prohibits the following. One is lumber or building material yards, and another is storage establishments, including mini storage. Unfortunately for this board, these uses are not defined in your municipal zoning code, which is unfortunate. But using our general understanding of these types of uses and my professional opinion is that what is being proposed here is neither of those uses. I would say that a lumber or building material yard evokes, for one thing, an outdoor type of use, and also a much more intense kind of like, I don't even know the words that I would use, but when you're looking at lumber piled high, even indoors at like a Home Depot type of place, that's not what he's asking for, right? This is a small scale. He's servicing only his employees who are then going out into the field. Contractors are not coming here and loading up for large construction jobs, and it's indoors. And I also think that despite the fact that he's storing inventory there, any retail establishment has some inventory storage. That doesn't make them a mini storage or a storage establishment. So in my planning opinion, I would say that the prohibited uses that are enumerated do not preclude this use from happening, and that it could fall into one or a number of the permitted uses. Of course, that's up to the board as to whether or not you agree with my interpretation, but with my experience with zoning codes and with definitions and with filling in gaps where definitions don't exist, that's how I would recommend the board. That's how I think you should look at it, and that's my opinion.
Thank you. Okay. So,
I have no disagreement with that. I think that they have presented it as professional services. Just for I want, and I agree, we're not defining everything. But in our ordinance, in the state statute, there's NJSA 14A, they go through corporations and who can and can't undertake certain businesses, and they have definitions. One of them is professional service. It means any type of professional service to the public, which requires renting a service to obtain a license, and it includes examples, and it says personal services rendered by CPAs, architects, optometrists, engineers, land surveyors, land planners. So the state of New Jersey recognizes professional services, something like a land surveyor, which you're not going to be doing in the property. You're going to have it off-site, but you run your office out of there, which seems to me that it's not all just white-collar stuff. It is things that you're doing off-site. So, you're not bound by the state of New Jersey's definition, but the only definition I could find for professional services tends to agree. It seems to falls within there. And while there are several uses, the one tiny thing that you ought to keep in mind is that they're not here before site plan, and they're going to, if there is a permitted use, they will go to Sal to get a CO. If he says it doesn't need any new parking, then they don't need site plan. I don't know if there's a difference in parking requirements for the various things. I think they've asked for professional services, and so I think what they are asking for is a motion for this board to find that, in fact, the proposed use, as described here, would fall under professional services and would be a permitted use as stated in your ordinance.
okay, thank you. With that being said, can I have a motion? No, I have to open up to
the public.
I would have to open this up to the public to ask questions of the applicant on his testimony. Yes, ma'am.
Michael Sarah, 41 West Lennox. I'm just gonna ask a favor, because I said, I heard the owners here, and you're gonna be a new business, which I welcome, and good luck on the establishment. We are redoing that whole corner. There'll be a new building to your right, and there'll be a new apartment building to the back.
Okay.
So we're trying to keep everything looking quality and looking good, especially with new buildings coming in.
Yeah.
So I hope you just keep that in mind as you're moving forward.
100%.
You know, keep the outside of the building respectful and clean, and move in, then we should have no issues.
Perfect, yeah, no, I will, believe me, I'm very, been around a long time, very neat, so.
I can indicate as well to the owners who are here that they've already been in touch with Mr. Foley about getting permits to replace the fence. They're gonna be painting the building and doing all that. It's already stuff.
Good.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public that would like to ask questions of the applicant on the testimony that was given? There is none, so I will close that session. Okay, can I get a motion from the board
I'll make a motion.
to,
That would be a motion to find that the use as proposed and described would fall within the definition of professional services and would be a permitted use.
Yes.
I thought you wanted a second.
I always look for legal advice.
and Rich is the second on that. Can I get a roll call, please?
Okay. Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Abate,
Yes.
Mr. Cross,
Yes.
Mr. Rowan,
Yes.
Mr. Baig,
Yes.
Mr. Fagula,
Yes.
and Mr. Devontae.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciated.
Thank
And by the way, Mr. Goss, I have a question. You're related to John Goss, went to St. Mary's many years ago?
That's my cousin.
He was a classmate of mine. Just say hello for me, if you would. I haven't seen him since 8th grade.
I have a question for you. Are you related to Ronnie LaSalle?
Yeah, he's my uncle. Yep.
How's he doing? Is he still with us?
Oh, no, he passed away quite a while ago.
How about, so Grace is your relative?
Grace and Arnold unfortunately passed. The only one left alive is Celine. She's living up in New England. And Jean's wife, Dot, is living up in Cedar Grove. But, Jerry was my dad, Sam and Jimmy, uncle and cousin.
Well, I knew Ronnie and Grace.
Yeah.
Great to meet you.
Good luck with your business.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Stop by, take a look when I'm all set up, got any questions or problems?
Jerry, it's good seeing you.
Say, don't,
Good to see you,
know,
Take care.
say, hey,
You too.
Right around the corner, Steve.
Yeah, no, definitely.
How the rest of the season?
Good. We had a couple kids down in Atlantic City,
Is
so,
that A1 or no?
yeah. Yeah, it was a good season, so thanks.
No, they said it was A1, but
No.
you don't need it. Okay.
Bye.
It's in the document.
That's it.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Resolutions, we have none. New unfinished business. Everyone, please remember to do your financial disclosures. They are coming due the 30th. Okay? No jokes.
Done,
You
sir.
will get fined.
Yes, no jokes with that, okay?
Very, done, sir.
Thank you. Yep, good, okay? Public discussion. Open the public discussion. Anybody? Mike Cost, anything on open space?
There wasn't much carried over from the meeting back in March. There's a couple of updates. The Hirschfield project is underway for the new playground. It's going. The rec department is disappointed they didn't get all their changes to the building that they wanted.
Okay.
That's another story.
What about the bridge? How are they making out with the bridge down there?
That's supposed to start in September, you told me. Maybe Mr. Sheriff can update us that.
Was that
Which bridge?
Horseshoe Park?
Harshville Park?
Hershey Park's going in this, August, yeah.
August.
I have,
So if you notice, they put new swings in already. We're gonna replace the house there, after camp. It'll be a brand new, hopefully this spring we'll put that, fall. And then the bridge, and then after that, the last thing would be, the new walk paths. So that'll be a whole new park when all is said and done.
yeah, and the bathroom's being upgraded to
Yep.
ADA codes.
So the DEP gave us a lot of problems with the building itself. We wanted to make it a little bigger, put it upstairs. They wouldn't allow us. So we're gonna make one handicap bathroom, which is gonna be a larger bathroom. and then keep the other bathrooms, but kind of gut the inside of the building, so it'll be a larger building with upstairs storage, with pull-down stairs.
And the basketball court's being resurfaced?
Yeah, we have some extra money, and we're asking Tilcon, who I think is gonna help us, and they're gonna resurface that for us.
Okay. Maria said the Willow Field project is out to bid.
Yep.
And another business was Lakeside Park. The pavilion is being replaced?
Yep.
Okay.
How about the slab? Because I know that slab is,
Yeah, right now, we're not touching that, but there's something, you know, we had engineers look at it years ago, and they thought we were gonna dock boats. If we're not gonna really use that property, they said we could just leave it as is. We are going to try to, so we are, at some point, removing all that fencing all the way down to the bridge, and putting new guardrail in, and cutting the guardrail so you can walk into the park itself. And that should happen in the next 6 months also. You know, when you take that fence down, it'll look much nicer than the park.
Are they gonna put like a new crosswalk in if they're there? That's great.
And the seasonal docks, the wood is rotted and they are kaput.
I made that a priority because we all know Pompton, we use those docks, and unfortunately, they started to sag and sink, and we can't fix them anymore. Now, we didn't have it in our budget. Open Space stepped in and said they can only pick up half the cost, 50% of the cost. So they're gonna pick up 50% of the cost of the $25,000 to $30,000. The town's gonna pick up the other 50. We're voting on it tomorrow. Once we vote on it, we hope to have it in a month. It's in stock. Because we all know those docks are used, so right now, nobody's using those docks.
right, and the other thing is that the people with the boats, they're using the kayak launches and the other dock that's there.
The floating dock, the walkway.
To tie up their boats, and that's gonna be a mess. That gets damaged.
Yeah.
The sooner we do that, the better.
Yeah, be very close.
And I think that was it. Maria had everybody in and out in an hour, so. Oh, and they planted all the bulbs. I think you were there, Steve.
Yeah, we did the EPC did some of them. And then I did want to do a quick plug that, we have the river cleanup coming up on May 4th. So that's a week from Sunday. So hopefully everybody get out there. Registration starts at 9:30, going till 1:30. I'm getting I already ordered them, but some like 6-foot subs. Got a 3-foot veggie sub for those that don't like meat, and cookies and stuff like that. So hopefully we get a nice crowd out there, make it a big like community event.
I see it posted all over Facebook.
I keep posting.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm pushing.
Get the word out, absolutely. Anything else?
I got one question in terms of our footbridge that goes right behind Max. They just tore down that Quonset hut after like 20 years. Is that town property now, or?
It is now ours, yes, we own that.
Is that part of open space, or is that for parking?
No, we're gonna use a small sitting park with just some benches there. We're waiting till they redo the bridge because we don't know where they're gonna have to stage the equipment. So all that's gonna be a sitting area to kind of, if you're fishing, you can sit on a bench. That bridge will be replaced also probably a year from now with the same type of bridge. Problem over there, it's a little more difficult to put it in because when they drop it, it's one big piece, it's a big bridge. And they need to spin it the right direction with all the poles in the way, so they gotta retake that a little bit. And they can't, that's a bridge that's used for transportation for the kids in school. So if we close that bridge, it's a long walk around if you don't take that bridge to get to school. So there's talk of the county might have to supply busing, or we might have to, or somehow keep the kids to get around that. 'Cause it's a long walk if they can't go across the bridge.
I have to walk.
You shoot for letting them walk? I'll send them walk when they go fishing.
Okay.
Cannonball Road.
We will close the public session. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
Wait, hold on, sorry.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I'm big.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
That's a long walk, you gotta walk that all the way around. That's a long walk.
Thank you.